But alas, there was a protest in the streets of Washington, D.C., showing their dissatisfaction to Donald Trump's authoritarian takeover of their city. And you tell me if you can spot a single black person in this entire crowd. That crowd is nothing but white people. People who likely live in neighborhoods where crime isn't as significant as other parts of the city. But their arrogant, sanctimonious attitude forces them to speak on behalf of everybody, impose their delusional worldview on the rest, simultaneously saying they're standing up for these oppressed minorities who this will negatively impact, but condemning, scolding, or just flat out ignoring those very people who say that this is what they want. This will improve their lives. These people have just made their entire identity the only thing they care about, resisting Donald Trump. And that's why black people are finally fed up with these Democrats. Here's an ex-Democrat White House staff, a black lady, explaining how dumb of a move this is for Democrats.
Well, I think we have to be willing to say the quiet part out loud. And I think as Democrats, it's facing uncomfortable conversations about crime. Look, no one wants to put kids in jail or lock them away for life, but when we ignore a problem, we allow it to fester, and we don't target what the founding issue of the problem is. And I believe for DC, a lot of that has to do with our youth and with education. I mean, DC for 2022 to 2023 had about 40% of kids that faced chronic absentee. So that means they missed 10% or more of the school year. Well, where are those kids when they're not in school? They're outside causing a little bit of chaos. They're raiding grocery stores, drug stores. They're putting entire sections of the city under curfew. And the fact of the matter is the president is addressing something that is very real. We can live in this city and say it's a beautiful city, and we can also say that we have a chronic issue when it comes to our youth.
And that's why Donald Trump is a man of the people. And now even black voters are realizing it. All the Democrat fear-mongering and hyperbole is falling on deaf ears because black people can see with their own eyes. The Democrats are doing absolutely nothing for them. In fact, almost everything the Democrat Party does is against the interests of black people. The Democrats give priority to trans people, to gay people, to illegal immigrants. While Donald Trump is saying, I hear you, crime is a problem in your neighborhoods, I'm here to help. And the Democrats knew that at a certain point, their grift towards the entire black community was going to be exposed, and black people were going to be fed up and stop voting for them. That's why they had to mass import tens of millions of illegal immigrants that they could put on the taxpayer dole and would eventually become consistent Democrat voters. That's why their attention is so heavily focused on Donald Trump not deporting people. They knew eventually one day they'd lose the black vote, and they needed voters to replace them. They made the lives of black people consistently worse for 60 years. They made them poor and more government dependent through bad policy, and they degraded the entire culture to slop, one that promotes gang violence and the eradication of each other through the media. And now that they're begging for help from law enforcement, the only person who is coming to save them is Donald Trump, not the party that they've been voting 90% in unison for the last 60 years.